Hey everybody, this is Doc Mac from the Galloping Ghost Arcade out in Brookfield, Illinois. It is Thursday, September 17th, and we are joined here today by 2015 Game of the Year, Pete Hahn.
How's it going, everyone?
And Sean Quigley.
Hey, how's it going, everyone?
And we figured we got a lot going on as always. We figured we'd do another podcast and get everybody up to date with what's been going on in the last week.
Yeah, it's been probably a couple of weeks since we've done one now, right?
Is it?
Yeah,
Has it been?
I think so. Yeah, but thanks everyone for listening. It's great that people are listening, and we'll keep going with these.
Yeah, we definitely like hearing all the feedback, and we've got a ton of questions that people want us to kind of go over this week, and just like seeing all the enthusiasm from everyone towards these podcasts. So we appreciate it, and that's why we'll keep doing them.
Cool.
Pete, what? I know you've been polishing up your Gamer of the Year championship belt and continuing to destroy some scores around the arcade.
I've been working on X Multiply, and just the other day I finally managed to clear the first loop. So I don't think it's been posted on Arcade yet, but I'm over 5.2 million now on that game.
Yes.
And I did record the run, so it'll be up on YouTube shortly.
That is awesome.
But yeah, it was. I think I'm ready to move on from that one now. It's a lot of fun though. Like I really like it. It's a ton of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and we just got another package in from Japan today. And the package contained Gradius 3. So that'll be going up soon.
I don't know if I'm going to play that one. I mean, I'll play it, but I don't know if I'm going to try for a score on it.
Is that, how,
we'll see.
Is that possible?
What does that mean?
It's that game is so hard they had to nerf it for the Super Famicom version. The arcade one was just ridiculous. Like,
wow.
We'll see. We'll see if I'll probably play it for fun. It's got a great soundtrack, but it gets really hard, and it's super hard to recover like most Gradius games, but this one's harder than the rest of them.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Well, that one has been the one of the Gradius series that has eluded us for a while.
Yeah.
But now we have the complete series and both Life Force games and Solar Assault.
And Solar Assault. So that's the entire suite of Vic Viper games or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely been a lot of fun trying to track those down, and we've got so many great shooter players that it'll be interesting to see who does what on those. But yeah, congrats on X Multiply.
Yeah, thank you.
I honestly thought you'd. I know you were still finishing up like Vendetta and a couple other things, but I knew you would be the first person to 1cc that, and I thought it was only going to take you 11 days.
Yeah, no, like the last level took me a while to learn. Like a lot of the I do like to watch like YouTube replays and stuff, and
Sure.
None of those were really helpful in learning this game because they all featured like auto fire.
Right.
So like I couldn't fire as fast as these people in the video, so their strategies would not work for me. So I kind of had to devise my own plan, which made me learn it better, I guess. I mean, I had to come up with my own technique that worked for me under these circumstances.
Right. Well, and that's always one of the interesting things with the people that play on emulators, and they just have some added bonuses that they can do, or if they're playing on MAME, they can give themselves rapid fire, and it's always interesting. But yeah, congratulations on that. I know you've done that on one of the Darius games as well.
On which one?
Wasn't it Darius Gaiden, where you had one of the top scores without rapid fire?
Yeah, on the Shmup forum, I do have the top score that doesn't use auto fire. Their top score overall on the Shmup forum of like 70 or 80 entries is a little under 12 million, but I have the highest that doesn't use auto fire of everyone on the Shmup forum that puts up their score, which those guys are serious. They like their scores there.
For sure.
Yeah.
But that's amazing. Congratulations, and I'm knowing what we have coming up. We've as always we're looking for games that people are currently playing. Like when you were playing Bad Dudes, you were kind of requesting Too Crude and stuff like that.
Yeah, I was asking if you to see if I'm like, well, this game's cool. I probably would like the sequel, or successor or whatever you want to call it to that game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's cool to like see where the evolution of these games, where they go.
Yeah. Is there? Do you know? Like currently, do you have anything picked out that?
I've kind of been having my eye on Russian Attack. It seems like everyone is lately.
Yeah.
Like Brian Shiloh came in and put up a great score right away, and I think Sean was playing it just the other day.
How
Getting
far
back
have you
into
been
it.
getting, Sean?
Got past the second level today. First time ever since the 80s, 85 when I started playing it.
Yeah.
So now I'm on to the third stage, and it's tough.
Yeah, and it's a short game that just keeps on looping every 4 levels, but it gets harder every time.
Yeah.
And like Rocco's score is super impressive because he had to loop it probably 2 or 3 times to get that score.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rocco was putting in some serious time on that.
Mm-hmm.
It was the funniest thing. Me and Jeremy from Prince Arcades were doing a little bit of cabinet shopping yesterday. We went down to a warehouse, and the collection we looked at we've been out there several times, and this guy has just some absolutely incredible stuff. And I was kind of going through his list of boards, and there's not too often where it's like I'll see somebody that has a board, especially locally. Usually I have to order online and stuff, but he had an MIA board.
Oh,
Yeah.
Which
the sequel.
I picked it up, and it was one that I've missed out on 1 or 2 times. Was actually it's kind of like the supercharged Russian Attack.
Yeah, I had no idea about it. You just showed me the YouTube video, and I was like, wow, this looks like a Russian Attack. But
yeah, it's kind of like the successor in the same fashion as Super Contra was to Contra.
Right. Like
MIA.
upgraded graphics, but same type of gameplay.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Was one that I was looking for quite a while, so hopefully we'll have that up pretty soon.
Nice.
Oh,
The funniest thing, like knowing that so many people had been playing it, and driving back, it was like, oh, I know that you had mentioned that you were into it, playing Russian Attack again, and I knew Rocco was going to be into it. Driving back about 10 minutes away from the arcade, I saw Rocco.
Wow.
And it just became
It's weird.
like we pulled up right next to him. I'm like hanging out of the van with the board, being like, hey, we just bought this board and you're gonna love this game. And I came back in the van, and it was like, man, that's probably the weirdest thing. Like, here's this weirdo from the arcade not at the arcade, like saying that he has new games for you. It's like, I thought that was a weird instance after it happened.
when did that ever happen?
Right, like
It's kind of crazy that you were on the way back from a game that he loves and he's great at.
Right.
Yeah, like, what are the chances?
right.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we can't wait to get that up and running. We've been pretty fortunate to be getting some cool stuff coming on the floor very soon. And I know we did that poll last it was almost 2 weeks ago now about
right.
what's going in.
We have space for one more game.
We actually have
And everyone
space
said DDR.
now.
Mania.
Everybody, Pac-Mania was the clear winner on the
Definitely, yeah.
poll.
What were the other choices?
Venture.
Oh, okay.
Make Tracks.
Make Tracks.
Oh,
What else was on there?
Other.
Yeah.
or Crush Roller, as it's.
The
sometimes
Crush Roller
called.
was the original Japanese name for it.
You see my addition to the poll? It said horizontal shoot 'em ups.
Did it?
I added that as an option, and some people
Yeah.
voted for it.
Sure.
What about vertical shoot 'em ups?
I don't know about that. We'll see.
Well, we have, and there's room. We're putting a new prototype out. I have a prototype that I've been working on, and I'm having. It's still crashing, and it shouldn't be. I'm trying to figure it out. It's Midway's unreleased Judge Dredd game.
Ooh.
Nice.
It's
It's a beat 'em up, right?
It is a beat 'em up.
Like side scrolling in the same kind of thing like Narc, like same type of world as that.
It has the digitized people too.
It does have the digitized people. It's
Yeah.
all live actors.
That's so awesome.
Sal DeVita the from Mortal Kombat
Night
fame,
Wolf.
who played Nightwolf, was Judge Dredd.
That's awesome.
And
That's
the
cool.
Nightwolf scowl.
yeah,
That's
oh,
awesome.
he's got this fake prosthetic chin on.
Oh my god.
And you can still tell it's him. It's really cool that we got that. We had to do custom artwork for it, just because from what I've heard, there's only 3 cabinets in existence. So we didn't get the original cabinet, but we did all custom artwork on it and tried to make it as close to the original cabinet art as possible. But we wanted to show off. Sal calls it his muggly face when he does
Nice.
the scowl.
Yeah.
So we tried to use that artwork, and I think I like the way it turned out. So that'll be going up on the floor in the next couple of days. Right now it's crashing when you throw a bomb. So if you use the special move, it locks the game up.
Okay.
But we'll see. We'll get it hopefully before we put it out. Otherwise,
Yeah. We'll run into issues. We'll have to put a sign on it or something.
yeah.
Don't use this move. It is forbidden.
Prototype.
Yeah.
Beware.
Yeah.
But yeah, at this place yesterday, they had some other great games. We unfortunately, some of the prices on them are, the arcade scene the collector scene is really picking up, so games are getting pretty expensive.
It's a good thing and a bad thing, I guess.
It is. We definitely, there was a time where like when we first opened, we were getting games for $50.
People were giving them away. Like they didn't want they were just taking up space to them.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Now the collector market is so solid that the prices are getting fairly substantial. So it's been interesting watching the ebb and flow of pricing on arcade games.
Yeah, I think I'd like one time to have Jeremy on the podcast, so maybe we can talk about that and see like how he, prices games and how he determines like what something should be worth.
For sure.
We should probably do that at some point.
Yeah, that would definitely be a really good podcast, and he's got a lot of great stories about some of these warehouse runs he's been on.
Cool. That'd be cool.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that in the near future. But yeah, so one of the others, as far as getting back to which of the games will be going up on the floor, Pac-Mania, top winner. One thing that has me a little more hesitant on putting Pac-Mania out, Underground Retrocade just got that. And I don't know, people have been, from what I've heard, have been enjoying it over there. It makes me wonder, should we, since they just got it, why not put something else out that
you can't play it in the area.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
make it so we can give something to our customers that they can't play there, and they can play something there if they want to play it.
Right.
So that way you get 2 things that you can play in the area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do they have Venture over there?
I don't believe so. I know it would seem like right up Scott's alley to have Venture, and that was the close second choice. We just picked that up out in, who did we get that from? It was the guy from Vince from the new arcade that we've been helping open, Tokens and Tankards.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and the one in Elmhurst.
Yes.
Or Mount Prospect, I'm sorry.
Mount Prospect,
Yeah.
yes. But yeah, so we picked that up, and I don't know. I'm leaning towards Venture right now.
Okay. Cool.
But it'll
Never
be
played
interesting.
it.
No,
Really?
I haven't
Well, I
played that
probably
either.
did. I just don't remember.
It's a really, really great game.
Is it a shooter, platform?
It's kind of like it's not like Berserk, but kind of feels a little like
Like
it.
maze-like?
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay.
it's an interesting game.
Cool.
Definitely a lot of fun. But yeah, it's let's see. We can some of the other stuff that has been going around the arcade. We've been as always. We've been doing a lot of cabinet upgrades.
Okay.
We just put new gun handles on Zombie Raid.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember you walking down Ogden with shotguns in your hands.
Yeah.
I was worried that someone was going to be like, "What is this guy doing? Do I need to call the police?"
Yeah, they look
pretty real
on all black,
Yeah.
just on one glance.
Yeah.
I'm glad this is a safe area.
Yeah, yeah. I think people have seen everything from like Daniel Pacina out doing rope dart on Ogden Avenue,
Yeah.
and
They know to expect the weird around here.
Yeah. It's
That's
interesting, but
it's on YouTube, by the way.
It is. Let's see what else. We just put new side art on our Donkey Kong 3 cabinet, and I know that was earlier today.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Haven't even made a post on that yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, just Dragon Saber got a new monitor.
That monitor looks amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't checked that out.
Yeah,
yet.
it looks super crisp.
Yeah.
Makes me want to play the game.
That was actually we ran into a board issue with Jackie Chan's Fists of Fire.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great game.
Do you have the world record in that?
No, but I'm going for it.
Okay.
Well, unfortunately, it is a pretty severe board issue. One of the processors on it is I have no idea where I would find a replacement processor. So I'm in the search for a new board. So in the meantime, we pulled the game off and took that monitor out and put it in Dragon Saber, just get that back up and running.
Oh, okay, cool.
So, and as always, huge thanks to our guy Seth, who's been doing a killer job keeping everything up and running.
Mm-hmm. I really appreciate his transparency too. He puts everything he does, like most of the stuff he does, he puts on Facebook and is like, "Here, check this out."
Honestly, he doesn't. He posts a lot, but in comparison to what he does, it's just the tip of the iceberg. That guy is just tearing it up here.
And one of the nicest guys you'd ever meet.
He is. He's our newest arcade member to the staff, and just fit in so perfectly. So
I was having a problem with Ghosts and Goblins, and he just opened it up, took care of it. There you go, and it worked better than ever.
Yeah.
We had it's stuff like that, and if we hear about it, we love fixing stuff on the fly. We had the guys from the Pie Factory podcast out the other day, and they had mentioned that was one of the things that they pointed out that they thought was amazing, and they had made point that they had the same experience at Underground Retrocade, where they were just like, hey, something's not working right, and Scott ran over and fixed it on the spot.
Nice.
They had made mention about Time Pilot for me, that the stick was acting weird. It's like, fixed it instantly. It's like such an easy thing to do for us. So
right, there was a problem with Raiden and Raiden 2 where a part of the bezel had fallen in. The next day it was fixed.
Or
even
Mozzie was playing it.
Mozzie was playing it, and I think you
I texted you, and you just came over and just took care of it.
It's just a little something that had fallen over. It was over the screen or something.
It's 2 seconds. Like, we try to get to so many things all the time. Like, even if the most smallest detail, like myself, if something's not playing right, it drives me crazy knowing that it's not right. And I know,
I'm picky. Like when X Multiply, I was having a problem seeing stuff on the screen, so the bezel was like covering a little bit. I'm like, do you mind if I adjust that? And you're like, no, go ahead.
Absolutely.
I can see more of the screen now. It helped out.
Well, and even that there was a graphical error on it.
Oh, right, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Like, that was, I had looked at that, and then Seth had looked at it, and there was, I think, Danielle.
She noticed it on the Saturday.
Yeah,
right?
it had gotten worse.
Yeah.
And I pulled the board out, and there was just a cap. One of the legs had broken.
Oh.
And I didn't have a replacement for it, so I just soldered it and made the connection complete, and I think it's been solid since.
Yeah, it's been totally perfect. Like, no graphical issues, nothing. Like, before, the graphical issues would just show up, like, in, like, level 4 and 5. But then you said Danielle was having it mess up even before that when it was bad. Yeah.
It was on level 2.
Okay.
Like, in the fins.
Okay.
Like, the first 3 fins that you blow up.
Okay.
Like, when I saw it, it had big boxes around them. So
Okay. Boxy fins.
Boxy fins. But yeah, and that's one of those always things we mention it often, but it's not never mentioning it enough that if
tell us right away.
Yeah, absolutely. Trying to think of anything else that we fixed recently. One of the things, again, getting back to Seth, I got here a little late one day. I got here at like 7, and
late. That's late.
Sometimes.
Wow.
It's but Seth was still here from the night before with John Haruza.
Yeah, they said they were pulling an all-nighter to work on Galaxy
Force 2.
Yeah,
and it's,
wow.
If
dedication.
It's absolutely amazing. Like, and even that, like, it's another one of those things. I never get to say how amazing the staff that I work with here is. So thanks to everybody on the staff.
Yep.
Thanks,
shout out
Pete.
to you guys.
Yeah, everybody. So, but yeah, that was pretty amazing. Those guys are pretty intent to get that up and running. That was actually why we went out to that warehouse. I had found the one replacement motion board.
Oh, nice.
There was an opto in the game that was locked on in the on position that's keeping the movement from working. So bought the replacement board, brought it back. I worked on it this morning and re-chipped the board, and opto's not running. So I don't want to steal. I don't want to take. I want me and Seth and John to get that up and running all together. So we're going to be working on that really soon, I hope.
Cool. Yeah, I can't wait to see that thing in motion.
Yeah. That'll definitely be a lot of fun. So, but I guess moving on. Do you want to take a second to give our condolences to the Waxman family?
Yeah.
Ron Waxman recently passed away, who was the vice president of engineering over at Gottlieb. We've been really good friends with Jeff Lee, who was he created Qbert, and he's been here a lot, and he's been telling us all these great stories. And we've been meeting so many great people from the Gottlieb family, of people that have worked there over the years, and he just recently passed away, so we do just want to say, give them our condolences.
Yep.
We didn't get to meet him, but just hearing the stories from Jeff, he seemed like a really good guy and was such a positive force into so many of these great games that were created back in the early 80s and stuff. So,
yep.
Moving on from that, let's see, what were some of the questions that we had from some of the people?
So let me pull up the Facebook page here.
I know we had MK Dan had asked about when our MK Dan was one of our friends that traveled in for our last Shand Tsungs Fight Night.
Yep, he has the first question. He asked, when's our next big MK event happening?
That is a great question. I know he needs to know early just because he wants to travel in again from Luxembourg and spend the week, which is just amazing. We've been having so many great players travel in again.
Yeah.
Not to get off topic, but the last week we had James in
from Barcelona.
From Barcelona, who Sean, we have you to thank for his first time out when
went and picked him up.
You went and picked him up from the airport.
But I'm so close to the airport, it was really
no, but it's still
a big thing.
Yeah,
it's like you don't know the guy and you showed him the hospitality.
I had no idea what he looked like.
Yeah.
I was driving into the international pickup and I'm like, oh my gosh, do I even know who this person is?
Like, that's something that most people might not do. Just go out and just because some guy has an interest in. And I know he came in. I believe Chris Teeter was the first person that he had really contact with.
Oh, through his stream, right?
Yeah, Chris Teeter was streaming one night and telling about the arcade, and he was like, "You got to come check this place out." So
he had never seen a cabinet.
Really?
No, he saw a cabinet at a show that was like too crowded to get around. He had never actually seen a cabinet.
Yeah,
like been able to play something in a cabinet.
Well, and this being his second time out here, it's like, again, the community behind this place and the just the way people find out about it. Like Chris Teeter, who's always streaming and a great competitor, great streamer. Like somebody halfway around the world sees him playing and then starts talking and hearing about the community, and they come on in. It's like,
yeah, they find out, and then we all work together to make a good experience for him. Like Sean picked him up. We hung out with all the rest of the regulars here. It was just great to see that happen over games, something that we enjoy.
Absolutely.
We went to Logan Arcade.
Yeah.
I think he went to Underground too.
Yeah, I guess Teeter was traveling all over with him.
Yeah, they went to New Jersey. I think they went to Richie Knuckles also.
And Fun Spot.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
That's really cool.
Yeah, we had this last week too. We had a couple hitchhike in from Oregon.
That's crazy.
Whoa.
Just absolutely amazing that the dedication that people have to get here.
They were just coming for here, not like on their way to somewhere else? Or?
That's what I heard.
That's crazy.
I talked to them very briefly. I kept missing them. It was like they were
in and out.
I know they were here for most of the day. I was just running around, and I think Mike had talked to them for quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And he was the one that told me, so I just talked to him for a few minutes. But
cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. Really
I'd like
cool.
to hear about that story about coming in. Like, were they in the back of a semi or what?
Sure.
Yeah.
But I guess, it's any day of the week you can start asking around. It's great to see that people have traveled in from all over the place. So. But getting back to MK Dan's story or question, I'm not really sure when the next big MK event is going to be just yet. Actually, Daniel Piscina is stopping out tomorrow, and I'll probably have a talk with him about when the next one should be. We had a bunch of them out at Wizard World with us. We had Daniel and John Parrish and Philip On and Rich DeVizio.
That was an awesome room, by the way.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was empty at first, and boy, it was standing room only after like an hour.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Like those guys, they have in Jeff Lee and Brian Colin were there as well, and it was just so amazing having just so many great industry people there. But they're all such huge draws. But yeah, hopefully we'll be solidifying the next Shand Tsungs Fight Night date relatively soon.
Do you think it's going to happen before the end of the year?
I don't know.
Don't know.
My concern now is where would it happen?
Because the events are getting too big.
The events are too big. Like we'd either have to forego the tournament side of it, and just have the celebrity signing. It's like, what do you do?
Yeah,
it's like
doing both would be.
We just don't have the space.
Yeah,
it's
and
like
this would be number
6.
6? Wow,
yeah.
Wow.
But
that's awesome.
Those guys are so. I know I talked to Rich not too long ago. He's raring to go. Like he wants to do some really big things, and
I couldn't believe when John Parrish walked in and he had painted his biceps.
Yeah,
that was awesome. John, he came in total character.
John is so awesome. He's really into it. They
brought their families. Phil Vaughn brought his family. Yeah. John Parrish brought his family. That was so cool.
Carlos was there too.
Oh, nice.
Can't forget Carlos Piscina.
No, never can forget Carlos.
Yes,
he's making it rain right now.
He's
and all of the nicest people.
Absolutely,
except for Daniel. Yeah, right. Nicest guy you ever meet.
But we will definitely try to get that planned.
We'll give you a ton of notice when we find out. As soon as we find out, we'll post it up.
Yeah. I guess going off of that, we can actually another question that we had from John Munkus, who he plays out at Arcadia, out in Arkansas.
Yeah.
Amazing flicky player.
Yep.
He asked us was asking us about the logistics of when we do events and stuff, and what it means to us when we go do shows.
Like bringing the games there and stuff?
Yeah. And again, we had just done Wizard World. That was probably the most games we've ever brought someplace.
How many did we bring? Like 40?
It was more than that.
That was a good selection of games, by the way. That was...
Thank you.
You kind of ran the
variety-wise?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's becoming super interesting to do shows. Like normally we do a show out in Ohio every year. This is actually the first year we haven't gone Glass City Con. Aaron
Ozens.
Aaron Ozens, who came in for our T20 event.
DJ, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw a post about that.
Yeah, it's a great show. We love doing it. They've always been very accommodating to us. It's a very... The last one, I felt so bad. I felt that we chose the wrong games for their show. It's definitely we should have had more anime stuff and more comic games. Like we brought like Primal Rage 2, and it was just kind of getting looked over just because the crowd didn't have the same appreciation for it as they would at a place like MGC. But it's a great break for most of the staff here, I think. To go do shows like that, and it's always a great honor. We were just invited out to the planetarium.
Oh, cool.
They asked us on Tuesday if we could go out and do kind of bring 5 or 6 games and just talk about the evolution of cabinet wiring and stuff. And
you know what
you should bring Star Wars.
Well, it was today, so yeah, we should.
You should bring Mad Planets.
Mad Planets and
there you go.
Gyrus.
Jeff Lee could come with.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Like it's so much fun doing those shows, and it's such a great break. As the shows get bigger and bigger, though, it's like we have to. The concern is like we don't want to pull our best games off the floor.
Right.
But we got to bring some good stuff, so it's always a difficult balance of what to bring. Wizard World they wanted us to bring closer to 80 games.
Wow.
Oh God.
And
how many games can you bring at once?
Well, the truck, we had to make 2 trips. Like the truck, depending on the games that we're bringing, like sometimes a truck will hold 20, 25 games. Sometimes it'll hold 30.
Right. Some of them obviously are bigger than others.
Yeah. And the games that do best at shows are usually like people love seeing the 4-player games like Simpsons and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Rampage
World Tour. And that factors into it as well, as like when we've got Jeff Lee and Brian Colin and the MK guys with us, that already is kind of dictating some of the games that are coming with.
Like International Team Laser and stuff like that.
RC Squared and Qbert, and it's some stuff is already laid out, but but it's definitely a lot of fun. We try to do as many shows as we can. We have a show out in I believe it's Red Moon coming up. It's a Halloween event that we're bringing some games to.
Cool. Like horror themed games?
Well, and that's some of them will be, but we are probably going to be doing we want to be doing a Halloween event here this year.
Just no Haunted Castle. That's such a hard game.
We'll have our Castlevania fix covered. There'll be something. It doesn't have to be Haunted Castle. Wink, wink. So.
You're gonna have Simon's Quest?
We'll have a surprise. We've been showing that off.
It's a secret to everybody.
Except if anyone asks me anything, like on a Saturday, I'll just be like, "Hey, do you want to go next door and see something that we haven't really announced yet?" It's yeah, but getting back to the shows, it really means a lot that we get invited to places like Wizard World. They comped us literally all that area. They comped it to us.
That was huge.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Nice.
And I couldn't believe how the whole convention got so busy. I couldn't even move downstairs.
Yeah.
And then I came upstairs, and I couldn't move upstairs where you were.
Well, and that's like, we appreciate that the regulars like you come out and show their support when we go to those events.
That was my first Comic-Con ever. It was overwhelming.
And that's it's a huge element, because it's big. Like, anybody can bring some arcade games, but what you get here, that is part of it. It's like the regulars are such a solid part of it. Right. And putting the games there is part of the experience of the arcade, but getting to talk to people like you that are so passionate about the games and that are, again, willing to come out and spend time with us just at a different venue. Like, that means a lot to us as well.
And I had to get up there and sit down for a while too.
Well, it's
a lot of walking.
Yeah.
A lot more than, anyone that's been to a convention knows that first time is, boy, you feel it for days.
Yeah.
Afterwards.
Like, it's a ton of work for us that are working on. Like, Pete, you've been with MGC.
Yeah.
Like, moving 30 cabinets.
That's a lot less than what you brought to Wizard World.
Yeah. Like, 30 cabinets, it's like whatever, it's one truckload. That one, just moving them, like, I remember me and Brandon and Phil and Will literally carrying 30 cabinets downstairs by hand, 2 flights of stairs.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Just because, like, we didn't want to take the time to walk the cabinets the entire way around the building. And
for, like, the freight elevators and stuff.
Yeah. And it's like, let's just walk all these cabinets down. And it's like, that's probably, we have so many great stories just from doing shows like that.
And you had TVs, you had speakers, you had systems that were set up all up in the front.
Yeah, we had a lot of...
It wasn't just arcade games.
We had a lot of console events. They wanted us to run a lot of console tournaments and everything.
That was set up really nice. I mean, you had Street Fighter
4 and
people
Mortal
were
Kombat
going crazy
X
over
and Smash Brothers.
Right. And then you had the arm wrestling game,
Arm Champs,
and people were really loving that.
It was, even with the weird thing with doing events, the bigger they get. And this is why, again, going back to what the staff just being so amazing, like, Brandon did such an amazing job at that event. Like, he ran pretty much every tournament.
Yeah.
I spent the whole time just running around making sure, like, the actors were doing all right, and Brian Cole and Jeff Lee had everything that they needed, and
the actors looked like they were having an awesome time.
Absolutely.
And everybody was smiling. The fans, the actors, Brian, Jeff. And Jeff's daughter was there. Brian's wife was there.
It's like seeing stuff like that. It's like, we don't go to those shows. We don't make any money doing those shows. Like, it's usually we just do them to be a part of the community, and it's not a money-making venture for us. It's just, let's go have a good time outside of the arcade, meet some people, put the MK actors and industry people in front of people that they don't normally get to see, and put some of our great players in front of people that don't normally see them. And it's just amazing. A lot of fun.
Do you ever worry that people that are that don't know how to treat an arcade game are going to walk up to something at the convention and abuse the machines?
It's possible. And we do try to keep the same mentality as the arcade. It's like, we have to protect this stuff. But it's kind of the risk and return of it. It's like, if you go out to a venue that you're meeting new people, it's the risk something might get damaged, but at the same time, there's a risk that you can find a bunch of people that are like, hey, I didn't know how much I loved arcade gaming.
Or I didn't know that Galloping Ghost was so close to me.
Right. Yeah. And we had the incident with Primal Rage 2. At MGC. Right. And it's like, that stuff happens.
It's a necessary evil.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is. It's like one of those things where if we do what we're supposed to be doing, making sure that people aren't putting drinks on the machines and everything will be fine.
Unless you have Tapper that has the actual coaster up there.
Even that we don't allow.
I understand why they did it, but
sure. But it's one of those like when you're moving cabinets, you're bound to break stuff.
Yeah, there's
like,
risk. Yeah.
Just even in transporting them, like a monitor will break
or something will come maybe loose or something. Probably not. So
well,
much.
For sure. Like at Wizard World, there was probably 10 cabinets. As soon as they were set up, we had to instantly start repairing stuff.
Really?
It's and it again goes back to everybody here just pulled together and made sure everything was working. There was, I think, only one game that we couldn't get up and running for the show of all of them that we brought. So it's I think it's definitely something we want to keep doing. We have a show coming up in New Jersey, which is a brand new convention, which you can check it out at njgamercon.com. And
that's a long drive for you.
Yeah, it's
that's what, 20 hours?
It's not that close.
It's not close. It is not close. But they've reached out to us to bring Dark Presence. They more want the production side of things, and we're going to be talking about a lot of the development stuff. So,
are other arcades going to be out there?
I have no idea. It's their first time doing the show. So we'll see. We'll see what it's all about.
Awesome.
And it's definitely another one of those it's going to be interesting to see where it goes.
Cool. Was there any more? There was a couple more Facebook questions. You want to?
Yeah. We had. Let's see. Games made recently.
Oh yeah, Stephen Lucas asked that question. Games made in the last 10 years that you would typically see at like a Dave & Buster's or GameWorks. That if space was that an issue, what we'd like to see or what we personally would like to have, like our top 3. Do you know what you would pick?
I know what I would pick. What would you pick?
I am a fan of Initial D, the anime, so I would probably have that here.
Yeah.
I haven't been to Dave & Buster's in over 10 years, so I have nothing to add.
I don't know. Besides that, maybe in one of the newer House of the Dead games or Time Crisis, another shooter.
That's yeah. I've been eyeing some House of the Dead stuff.
Yeah.
It's kind of odd. There's this weird balance. There's been a lot of stuff that has definitely been made in the last 10 years that you don't. Right now, I've been preferring to get stuff that you would want to see at a Dave & Buster's and expect to see, but even they don't carry.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And that's why we've been getting so much stuff out of Japan lately. And again, we've got 4 or 5 cabinets coming that we have no place on the floor for them, but there's no way to prepare people for what's coming. It's more stuff. People don't know that it's out there, and it's going to be really amazing when we get it out there.
Correct me if I'm wrong. You did have a Time Crisis at one point.
We did have Time Crisis. We had Time Crisis 1.
On the big cabinet, that's right.
The giant 50-inch monitors. Yeah. That thing was
over by where Star Wars is. The
arcade
game.
Yes.
I thought that was it.
Somebody posted today about Star Wars battle pods, and I believe that was one of those things that kind of this question stemmed from, or that Star Wars post stemmed from. The new Star Wars battle pod, that's a great looking game. I've played it at level 257 out in Schaumburg has it. Did you try it when we were at
I played it a few games.
What'd you think?
It was really immersive. I like the gust of wind that comes. I thought it was a lot of fun. Like I like Star Wars, so obviously I liked it a lot.
It is very immersive. The screen actually, it's like this cockpit thing that you sit in, and the
door closes around you.
The monitor actually wraps around you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Have you been out there?
No.
It's really impressive. They
It
had done a step up from the F-15 Strike Fighter in the same style cabinet, but the Star Wars game, it just lends so well.
Is it kind of like BattleTech in a way that it encapsulates you?
Yeah,
it really does. Like, and it's all screens. It's a single screen, curved.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's all around.
That's what I'm waiting for, by the way. The BattleTech part of the building to be added on.
We passed on buying those once. One of them once. Maybe one day. But there's a lot of cool stuff. Like Raw Thrills is putting out stuff like games like Alien Extermination. I thought that was a cool game. They have that Batman driving game.
Oh yeah,
that's really cool. I think the guys.
There was a recent Terminator game, wasn't there too?
Salvation, yeah.
Yeah, the Salvation, yeah. Like I remember the cabinet looked cool. I didn't see the gameplay that much, but the cabinet looked really cool.
There's a lot of cool stuff. Like, and anything like Raw Thrills gets so many great titles. It's always fun having games with known titles to them. Like they're like those two. Me and Brandon were out there talking with George Petro not too long ago, and it just seeing some of the stuff is just amazing that's coming up from them. So
cool.
That guy's really cool.
George Petro is really awesome, and
I met him when he was in here, and he was showing us how to play the prototype of Trog.
Yeah. Like,
wow.
George is absolutely so awesome. He came out last weekend, and I'm going to announce. I don't think I've announced this before, but I know I've told a few people. But we have He came in last week with a specially chipped NARC board for us, containing a unreleased level, and he brought us the board. So we're so super excited to have that up and running. I'm just we're trying to figure out how to put it in the cabinet so that it's not.
Is it going to be like Trog where you switch back and forth?
It might be. There's some issues with it, so probably have to do some custom wiring on it. I just have to think of how exactly I want it wired to where we're not putting any of the boards at risk.
Is that a level that it's like, do you know if it's like a level at the beginning or is it a level at the end? Or
it's kind of like a bonus
or
level.
Or a bonus, okay.
So it's a little bit into the game, but you get to fly the helicopter.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
It's just like you can't die in the level. You're just like dropping bombs on
that's awesome.
on guys. Like
that's cool.
He said it sometimes crashes the game, but it's not on MAME.
Wow.
He says there's no other copies of it out there, so it's I cannot wait. I've been putting so much time on NARC lately.
Tim Foley, it's waiting for you.
Yeah, very soon. So I can't wait to get that out there. But yeah, as far as other newer games, it's interesting. There's some definitely cool stuff. Some of the size of some of the cabinets currently kind of prohibits us from putting some stuff out there, but we're always open to it. Like we do get big cabinets. We say there's no space, and then
something happens.
Like I remember saying that, and then we wheeled Strike Fighter out onto the floor.
Yeah.
And then F-Zero, and then Galaxy Force 2, and it's like we keep finding places.
There's always somebody on F-Zero.
Yeah.
That's such a great game.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so happy that we have that one.
And when that was an actual in an arcade, what was it, $1 to play?
Probably more than that.
Yeah,
it might have been like $2 to play.
Wow. I've heard the new Star Wars game is $5 a play.
That's crazy.
Holy
That's
cow.
what it's supposed to be. I think I know it level 257 because it's a scan card and you're playing on time. Like it doesn't matter. But yeah, if you're gonna go play that there, it's definitely a good game. Like you get your money's worth very quickly.
Yeah.
Speaking of Star Wars games, there's a very little known game from Sega called Star Wars Arcade. Not trilogy. 2-player. Sit down.
Really?
That came out in 93. Giant, looked very similar, but instead of the one chair, it looks similar to Trilogy, but instead of just the single chair, the deluxe, it has these 2 big chairs that are separate, and you're flying X-Wings.
Nice. That's awesome.
Really?
The place that we went to yesterday might be able to get us one. Now the question is, and I'll leave this up to our dedicated podcast listeners, is that something that we should get?
I say yes.
Is it an exchange of like losing something else, like or like not fitting something else out on the floor?
Well, this we would
suggestions.
have. This we we're gonna. It's one of those. It's rare. Mm-hmm. It's super rare, and I don't like passing up on giant
rare things.
Giant rare things that we might never see again.
Yeah. You could put it next to the Star Wars trilogy, and take Return of the Jedi out of there for one.
They also have some of those cabinets. Okay, see, for me, the completist in me, just like we finally have completed Gradius.
I totally get that now. Yeah, I
like,
totally get that.
And I actually just remembered we have a pod racer, Star Wars pod racer, sitting in our back room.
Yep. From episode 1.
From episode 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cool racing game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of the movie, but
the game was cool. The N64 game was actually pretty decent too.
Yeah.
Do they have a Jar Jar Binks game?
I have not searched the internet for that, if they do. But, again, a lot of it comes down to cost. This is much, much, much cheaper than, it's about a fifth of the price that I've seen it listed for.
Oh, wow.
So it's like if we pass on it,
yeah.
it is. But they also have an Empire Strikes Back, classic Atari.
Wow.
It's like
like the actual the Atari 2600 version of that.
Well, no, it's the arcade version.
Really?
It's
that's bringing back memories.
It's more similar to the original Atari Vector game. Yeah.
Wow.
But it's like that game is pricey, but absolutely amazing. And then there was also that Star Wars Galaxy Fighter.
That was based on TIE Fighter, right? Or
no, Galaxy Fighter was episode 1 as well. Came out around the same time. Very rare. But
I don't even know about that one.
Yeah.
Cool.
But I don't know. If there's Star Wars fans listening, let us know what we should get. Or should we just get everything?
Get everything and knock down walls.
Get everything, just block Ogden.
There was a question also from Eric Kim, and he actually was in the arcade yesterday. And we were talking for a little bit about custom T-shirts, and I think it was a good idea. And we'll let our listeners also, if they want to chime in on this. But as far as like either custom designs from games that we have on the floor here, or like they might have the Ghost logo on the arm or on the back, and then a game on the front. I was thinking about maybe possibly doing something where like there was like either like a month or 2 period, and if you want the shirt for that month or 2 period, then you prepay. But if we don't hit the goal, whatever it is, 25 or 50 for that period, then the shirt doesn't get made and you get refunded. But if it does get made, then the money just gets taken out, and then we make the shirt custom made, whatever size you order. So I thought it was a good idea.
Yeah,
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah,
I think that would be cool. We could put we could probably do something like that.
I thought it was really cool. There's shirts that I would like to have of games that like I've never seen shirts of a lot of the games. I would love to see a shirt with like X Multiply on it or something.
Sure.
Or Russian Attack.
Darius Gaten.
Yeah. I have a Ghosts and Goblins shirt, but a Ghouls and Ghosts.
Yeah, you're always sporting some prominent gaming shirts.
I usually am when I'm not here, but I'm always here wearing my employee shirt.
You're the first one I saw with a Contra shirt ever.
Yeah.
And then I got a Simon's Quest shirt, and everyone's stopping me.
Yeah.
Like, I love that game.
I'd love a Super Contra shirt, but I've never seen one. So.
Yeah. We could probably start doing something like that.
Cool. It's a good idea.
as far I don't know. Thank you, Eric Kim, for suggesting it. We had
the Raiden 2 world record holder.
Yes.
But also recently took Super Space Fortress Macross.
Yeah,
oh, that's right.
Yeah. We'll get to our high scorers later, but shout outs to that one.
Yeah, absolutely. We had the last time we had talked about custom shirts, I believe, was back when we were talking about doing an icon system for Arcade, and having like the military.
Like you get badges for.
You get badges, and
depending on how many tokens you had or how many 1cc's you had, you have a different patch.
Yeah,
that'd be kind of cool. Be like a status symbol.
Yeah, like the military fruit, like what do they call it? Fruit salad.
Yeah, for your ranks.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't be able to fit all yours on there, Pete.
I don't have many tokens.
Well, all your world records you have to go on your back.
James White would be.
Yeah, James White would be covered in patches.
That would be
Rocco
awesome.
and
Rocco.
Yeah, all those guys would be covered.
Yeah, that would be excellent. What were there any other?
Let's see. I'll take a look here.
In the meantime, shout outs to the guys from, I know we had mentioned that the Pie Factory podcast was out here. We want to say thanks to them for coming out, and they did an interview with us.
It's Duke. So Duke's, he didn't respond in the thread, but he sent me a message. There was a couple things he asked, and maybe we can take a quick look at that. But
sure.
Do you want me to go over some high scores first, or you want to?
Sure.
Okay. So going back about to the 7th, which is as far as our scoreboard goes back right now. All right, so this kind of happened right after we recorded our last episode, but Jamie Tibbetts did the first 1cc on Airbusters, and he won the quest for the glove.
Yes, that was I had offered up my original Caneco Airbusters pack-in glove from the Genesis release of it. Very happy. Congrats to Jamie for
the 1cc.
For the 1cc, I know him and Jeremiah and Mozzie's were all working on that.
Gores was too.
Peter Gores was working on it too, and just really awesome. And I've had that glove for 20 years. It's so. Congrats to him. I know it's in a good place. Yeah. I saw on Facebook that he's looking for an original Airbusters copy of it now.
Yeah,
or for the Genesis. Yeah. None of them on eBay had the glove with it.
Wow. Yeah, so that's the rare part.
Yeah. But huge also congrats to Jamie Tibbetts. He took the world record in freeze as well.
Yep.
He upped that to about, I think it was over 75,000 points.
75,190 it says.
I know him and I was playing it, and Tim Foley's been putting in a ton of time on that. Great to see so many people have an appreciation for the Atari prototype.
I haven't tried it yet.
I
think you've always been on it when I'm trying to play it.
Can't get on. All right, what other scores do we have here? Pete Gores has been working on Lucky and Wild. He is really he's inching up to Brandon's record, and he thinks that he can eventually beat the world record on that game.
That's awesome.
Wow.
So he's I would say like 30,000 points less than Brandon now, which is really close to taking the house high on that.
Yeah,
that's another game I've never played, but I've seen. It's
fun
watching people play.
We had Mozzie's and Jamie put up a 2-player Blastoid score behind you, and he's just behind. He's nipping at you and James's heels.
Now I shouldn't say this, but
you're gonna talk some smack.
No smack, but just some truth. That score that me and James did, and James can back me up, was the first and only time I've ever played that game.
Ooh.
I know I shouldn't be saying this, but
so you are talking smack.
Okay, I am.
All right,
but it wasn't intentional.
What other scores do we got here? We got our Mike McCarthy, who's actually an employee here, just put up a new house high for Wacko.
Yeah, that's very impressive.
Super impressive score. He's like number 2 on Arcade now with over 109 tokens for that one score he has. So that's his average. That's his only game he has a score up for right now.
Oh my!
So he has the best average.
Yeah, that's awesome.
He's just under 150K. So congrats. He just took James. He just beat James White's house high.
Yeah.
How far is he? Do you know from
I do
the
not.
world record?
I don't know.
Oh, he's
not
not
sure.
sure.
And then Eric Kim again with Super Space Fortress Macross. He beat, I think it was Fred DeHart's world record score.
Yeah.
He put up 3,896,000, and I think Fred had like 3.5 or so.
Yeah.
Something like that. So he didn't beat it by much, but he did beat it. So in scoring, 1 point is all you need.
Yeah, for sure.
But
for sure.
congrats to him on that.
Yeah, congrats to Eric.
Yeah.
And
It's a great
I'm
game.
anxious to talk to him a bit more. I've missed him the last time he was in. But definitely can't wait to see what game he's going to go work on next.
He seems to like the vertical shooters.
Yeah.
I told him to go for the other Rain games.
I'd like to see him work on like Dragon Spirit,
Yeah.
Dragon Saber.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
I've put so much time on those, and I still think I know Mossie's has Dragon Saber, and I think
I think he has both.
no, I think
Zurst
has one.
Yeah.
I think he has Spirit.
Right.
But I'd love to see those scores pushed up.
Yeah, I'd like to see someone do a 1 credit clear on those, like go through it.
Yeah, well,
cool.
that's
asking
a
a lot.
tall order.
Yeah.
Or
But
maybe even like Mission Craft or something.
Mission Craft,
It's near max. That score is
yeah,
near
that
max.
score is near max.
Oh, is
It's
it?
2 loop. Like
Yeah.
Walter's, you know, I had Walters came in not too long ago and just played a game of it cold. That's one of those that I bet he could probably get a little bit more on that if he put a little time. Like everybody's improving skill wise so much. It's kind of those. It's like Haley's Comet. Like
Yeah.
Rocco put up an amazing. That was our first world record, but everybody's skill level is increased by so much over the years that now I think Kita and Tibbetts and I think maybe Pete Gore's. I don't know. I think
they're
a
at
few.
that level now. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like what was the old world record is now significantly more obtainable.
Yeah, it's now matched by several people.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So it's kind of interesting. I hope a lot of players do go back and just they have to realize that their skill level is increased by so much that some of those scores, like even myself, like Narc, I know what a good world record on that should be, and that score was so low for so long.
Mm-hmm.
Just going back to it, it just took a couple of games to get it bumped up over 1 million.
Yeah. I think that once you have the game in your long-term memory, you'll get it back quick. Like
Yeah.
So I think that once you kind of get back into it, you'll be back to clearing it in 1 credit, no problem.
Yeah.
But what other scores do we have? We had James upped his us versus them.
Yes.
He's over 600,000 now. 627.
Very impressive.
624. 624K.
He says he's pretty much done. I think he's done with it right now.
Mm-hmm.
He really wanted to break 600,000. I have to tell Jeff Lee and Warren Davis that he broke 600,000 because those guys will be super excited to hear that. Cause
Congrats to James White.
yeah, congrats to him.
Yep.
Hey, Jim.
Awesome score. Duke increased he finally had 1 million points in Robotron.
Yes.
Wow.
So that's a new personal high for him. It's not a house high, but he's been working on that for a little bit.
Yeah.
So congrats to him. Let's see. Mozzie's has upped his Raiden 2 score. He's kind of nipping at the heels of Eric Kim. He's at 522, so not bad on that. Fred Oakes raised the house high on
Junior Pac-Man. Yeah.
Junior Pac-Man. He's at 121,000 now.
That was on. Was that?
That was
Saturday?
That was Saturday, I think.
Yeah, I think it was Saturday.
Still waiting for Baby Pac-Man.
Then let's see. We had Sean Courtney come in from Pie Factory Podcast. He had put up a bunch of scores. I think it was Saturday also.
Yeah.
And then just recently, in the last couple of days, Brian Shiloh put up a really good score on the hard track of Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
425K. So,
That's amazing.
yeah, so I know a lot of the players have been playing on the easy track 3 Lives because that's a track that we tracked for Atari Week. But Brian picked the hard path and put up scores that beat most of the players' scores on the easy path, so that was really impressive.
Yeah.
And also he put up a really good introductory score for him on himself on Russian Attack. He put up 242K.
Yeah, that's excellent.
So he said he might be going for that score next. He said he might be trying to top the house high-end world record.
It's so weird that everybody just kind of converged on that game at once.
We're all rushing and attacking that game.
Well, Pete,
Sorry.
you brought it up to me, and I was like, "Oh, I love that game."
Yeah.
And it just got me more interested.
And then one day I was playing it. Rock was like, he came back there, like it was like I hadn't seen him in like weeks, and he's like, "This is the one game I wanted to play."
Mustache and beret on, and his knife.
He's like, "You're on this game. This is the one game I want to play." I'm like, "Sorry."
Stone.
So he went and played Freighter Raider, and he loved that instead.
Yeah.
So he's been having fun with that. So hopefully we'll see Rocco back soon.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then finally, just yesterday, we had Shane put up a new. Technically it's a new world record. His last score we had incorrect settings on, but he did beat an established Twin Galaxies record that had been standing for a while.
Yeah.
But now we're on the correct settings. We can say this for certain is the new score.
Awesome.
So he put up 655K, which the old world record was just under 500K on that.
Yeah.
So he was really close to beating it in one credit as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I've been hoping he would come back in.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of those where we didn't have the settings verified in time. Like we just had to have him redo it and have it 100% accurate before we entered it in. So.
Yep. So congrats to him on that.
Yeah. Congrats.
And like a lot of the players here, I think you brought up a good point. Like a lot of players here have increased so much in skill. And kind of what I've been doing is I've been going back and seeing if I can improve in the games I already have scores on to see if I can push them any further now that my base skill has gotten more. And it's worked in a couple games. Like I am just in the last month I increased my Contra score and my Salamander 2 score just because in general I've gotten better as a player. And I kind of want to challenge everyone that like as a regular here, like if you know a game, like I would say try it again. You can probably beat your score right now. Even if you're ready to hold the score, I bet you can beat it now because you're better.
Who would you want to see? For me, again, I get to see everybody play everything, which is one of the funnest things for me here.
Mm-hmm.
But there are a handful of things that it's people playing specific games that it's just every time they play it, it's amazing to watch.
Yeah, it's a sight to behold. Like
it is.
You don't see people playing that level like at all hardly.
Like for me, James White on Forgotten Worlds.
I was just going to say the same thing.
Yeah.
I can watch it all day long.
And I've watched it with you.
Yeah.
Just sitting there
over
like,
and over and over.
Me too. It's
what
awesome
is
to
he
watch.
doing?
Anthony playing Splatterhouse.
Yes.
Richie Knuckles playing Space Invaders.
Oh my
Or
gosh, I
Phoenix.
was there.
Yeah, watching him play, that's insane. Like
It is.
And he's like,
It is.
watch this, watch
like,
this,
yeah.
watch this. I'm like, he knows it better than the programmer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to.
He did the same thing with Star Castle. He's
Yeah.
like, oh, I want to beat James White's record, but I'm not going to.
He had mercy.
I'm like,
MK3 style.
You playing Darius Gaiden
Yeah.
is one of those.
Oh,
I just
God.
gotta watch it.
Yeah.
Like Walter's playing
Dodon
Dodon
Pachi.
Pachi.
Yeah,
It's
or
like
Dojo, yeah.
or
I
Mars
can't-
Matrix. Him and Fred.
Yeah,
playing Mars
Fred
Matrix.
playing Mars Matrix.
Yeah.
It's just like it's a sight to behold. It's
Yeah.
like wow. There's like beauty in the gameplay. It's so awesome.
Yeah, when someone knows the game that well, you can tell they're having such a good time with it. But I think people they should come back and try to improve on those.
What
scores.
would you want to see somebody playing?
I would
Can
like
you
to
think of
see.
anything?
I would like to see Zurst play. What's that game called?
Radiant Silvergun.
Radiant Silvergun. Show me how to play that game. I would like to see Walters play the original Dodon Pachi. We were just playing that last night. We just fired it up because we were over there
Yeah,
playing
there's
Raiden.
that game's awesome. It's just all destruction.
I would like to see.
Sean, I
Twin
like
Cobra.
watching you playing Choplifter.
I'd like to see.
I don't like that game. No.
I'd like to see Fred play Raiden Fighters 2. I was
Yeah.
having fun with that last night too. It was kind of slow, so me and Sean were back there playing a couple games.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of stuff. There's like
You know what game I haven't seen somebody play that I'd like to?
what's that?
Doc playing Narc. I've never seen you play Narc.
He plays in secret. He puts up a tent around him so no one can watch.
I've never seen you play Narc. I mean, I know you do, but I just haven't seen it. Now, I have seen you play Midnight Resistance, and you're awesome at that.
Thank you.
But maybe not.
I'd like to see Brian Sheila play Final Fight. I want to see him get that 1cc on that.
Brian Shiloh, Also, like, yeah.
On Forgotten Worlds as well. He's amazing.
Yeah, he's awesome to watch him play on that. Yeah, Final Fight. Pete Gore's on Rally X or
Haunted
Megaforce.
Castle.
Haunted Castle. Oh, Walter's on Castlevania. Like, this... See,
this is its own podcast.
This is its own podcast.
Yeah.
It's like... It quickly becomes just this, like...
I didn't know Walters was good at Castlevania, is he?
Oh, he's a master, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
He can loop the game, yeah.
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 Oh, I never knew that.
Yeah, the original Castlevania versus Castlevania.
It's cool watching the people play when they're going for style points on things where it's like, I do it like this just because I can, and this is how I do it, and I make it look easy.
I'm guilty of that.
You are. You totally are. It's
Yeah.
like
I'll drop a bomb like on X Multiply. Like I'll shoot just once and drop a bomb and hit a guy like halfway across the screen. So I know it's gonna line up and hit him, just because it's funny to look at.
Yeah, I like your life force patterns.
Mm-hmm.
Your salamander 2 patterns where you're circling around just so your options are doing.
Oh my! They're doing tricks around me.
You're
They're
doing
doing figure
tricks.
eights.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like to have fun with it. It looks funny, with these things circling around me. So yeah, why not?
Yeah, but yeah, there's Duke playing Centipede.
Oh, that's a sight.
Like,
I like to see the other people, like, just
Watch
people watching, like, how does he do that with the tunnel?
it's the most amazing thing. It's like there's a long list of like Davin Lowe on any of the Samurai Showdowns or Uday on Street
Strike.
Fighter. Yeah, Third Strike. Norbert on.
Any of the King of Fighters.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
There's a lot of stuff.
there really is.
Yeah.
There's,
Pete on Primal Rage 2.
Or one. Yeah.
yeah.
Or 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some good stuff. Good stuff to watch. Like,
Yeah.
how cool is it that even if you're not playing, you can just watch cool stuff happen here?
Yeah, I think that's
Pete
great.
Gore's on Lunar Lander. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah, he's got a lot of good stuff under his belt.
Yeah.
He's got some great scores here too.
And again, it's
Underrated
like
player.
Master Warriors.
gamer of the year. Like,
Oh, yeah.
it's a lot going. Like, already, like you look at in the last how many scores that people have put up.
50.
There's a lot of well, that's just here. If you look at the global arcade, there's a lot of world records. There's like 6 or 7 out of the last 50 are world records set here.
Yeah.
That's like, there's just so many just super amazing players.
Right.
It's awesome.
Totally. Should we take a look at Duke's question? Duke had messaged me.
Yeah. Do you want to?
Yeah, I'll read his question out and we can talk about it. He wanted to know the state of the expansion, if there's anything we can talk about on that. And then he also wanted to know a little more on gamer etiquette.
Let's state of the expansion, and that's something Dan Akveli
Oh, he also said on Facebook.
also asked about that. I have as soon as I'm done with this podcast, I'm having a conversation with the landlord about what's going on. So hopefully for the next podcast, I'll have some interesting news.
So,
Fingers.
news is good.
Fingers crossed, toes crossed.
Shout outs to Dan
Yep.
for
Needing the bigger boat.
needing the bigger boat.
Yeah. Shout out to Jaws. All right.
Real quick, Dan also mentioned the next swap meet.
I've been asked that too. People love the last couple swap meets.
Yeah.
When do you want to do the next one?
I'd like to do it soon. I think, especially
Like
we're
after
not
Halloween soon, or
Yeah, like I don't know. There's a lot going on. Definitely before Christmas. I know
okay.
there's a lot of cool stuff that people could have bought for Christmas presents.
Yeah.
Like there's.
What do you think about Black Friday swap meet? Like Black Friday weekend.
Ooh, that might be good. What? Let's hear it. Let's
right.
ask. Tell
Ask
us,
the listeners.
Yeah. What do you?
Get Brian Cowan back in here.
Yeah.
He had a lot of great stuff.
Yeah, I know.
think he continues to have a lot of great stuff.
He does.
if I'm not
We
mistaken.
do have prints of like Rampage artwork and
That Spy Hunter
Spy
artwork.
Hunter
Oh,
artwork,
there you
Battle
go.
Scars, and
That's such a great.
Battle
Yeah.
Scars.
cars.
On display here at the arcade, you can own those prints. The lineup of the unreleased stuff like Ant Hill and RC Squared and International Team Lasered and Patooey Louie, General Kit.
Patooey Louie.
Yeah.
Great name.
You can. We have extra prints signed by Brian himself.
And then do you have the figurines?
We do have General Cast 2 figurines as well here.
Those aren't for sale though, right?
They are.
Oh, I
we
didn't know
have
that.
extra boxes here.
I didn't know that.
Oh.
Ask for them about up at the counter. We have a lot of Jeff Lee artwork as well up at the counter. So
All the other
keep it in
Cooper
mind.
characters that didn't make it.
Rupert, Q-Dirt.
What were
Yeah.
they called?
There were 2 unnamed characters, and then there was the new paintings that he'd done for Rupert and Q-Dirt,
Q-Vert.
Q-Vert,
Q-Dirt.
and
What's the other one? There's one more.
Unibert.
Unibert, yeah.
Yeah.
Unibert. I
He's
don't
working.
want to ask about Unibert.
All so awesome. And a true piece of arcade history drawn by and painted by the original artist. So just how amazing is that?
Yep.
But yeah, let us know when it should be.
Yep. Next thing Duke asks is more on gamer etiquette, especially beverages and personal belongings being placed on cabinet panels and on top of the monitors.
That is it's a huge thing for us, like
Especially in the winter, people with their jackets.
yeah. It's one of those, like, honestly, we cover it here in the podcast, but not everybody's listening to the podcast. Like, we get
I would say out of all the customers that come into the store, most of them don't.
right.
Yeah.
Like,
Unfortunately.
Saturdays we're having, especially now, we've been having usually over 400 people through the door on a Saturday, and they're not listening to the podcast. They know about it. They're not super familiar with us. And again, guys like Eddie is amazing at giving the rules of the arcade to people.
Right.
And we have them posted, but I think people are just so excited to get in there and
Sure. They
get
got blinders
playing.
on everything else, I think.
Right.
Yeah, they see like their favorite game that they haven't seen for 15 years on a screen. They're not looking at the rules.
Right.
Yeah.
And they don't know that some of these machines are one of a kind, and it's not an intentional thing. If you see it, please tell us so we can go take care of it. We try to police the arcade all the time. We have rules up, and people just don't read them. So it's one of the biggest things not to have drinks on the machines. I've especially in the back row with the shooters. I can't tell you how many times that. We can't get back there. Like, it's not easy if on a busy Saturday we have one guy up the counter, somebody else trying to watch the floor, but there's hundreds of people here.
Right.
Somebody will set something up on top of the machine, and it'll fall behind the cabinet. And it's like, then we have to jump over the cabinet and get it. And it's like, it's not the end of the world, but we that's why we have the rules in place that so we don't have to do that stuff, because then it interrupts other gamers, and it's just one of those. Again, if you see it, please let us know.
You'd rather not people deal with another customer themselves, like, hey, they don't want to do that.
It's one of those, you got to kind of think. Like, would you want somebody coming up and telling you that who didn't work there? And it's like,
It might be a little weird.
Yeah.
Depends how you did it.
We had James politely ask somebody something once, and they kind of were like, well, you don't work here. Like, why are you telling me?
Yeah.
And we don't want to put anybody in that position. So yeah, just like if somebody's playing rough on a machine, please let us know.
Right.
But even for the regulars, make sure that you guys aren't please, you're setting the example for everybody. People, we don't want people to become complacent to the rules.
Yeah, if you come in and you got an outside drink and gum, it's hard for us to enforce it with other people if you're doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I did that one time.
Yeah.
What's that?
Chris Teeter actually caught me.
What's that?
I was playing Tengai. I don't know how you say it.
Tengai.
And I had my Diet Mountain Dew up on there, and he just walked up. He goes, "Hey, Sean," grabbed it, put it down on the ground.
Did he?
And I'm like, "Oh, whoops!" I mean, I make
gotcha.
mistakes,
Yeah.
I make mistakes, and I haven't done it since,
Nice.
And it was only there for a second.
And then you didn't
Props
have the incident.
to
And it
Chris.
was full. Props to Chris, We all make mistakes.
It's one of those.
Even the regulars.
Yeah, like the regulars, and we had recently. I know we had one regular kind of call out another regular. He asked me to kind of point it out. It's like sometimes if you're going after scores, you kind of grind out on games, and it's like just please make sure that you're consider it even of the regulars, because some of the regulars don't even want to be like, hey, can I got next. It just becomes like some of them are just kind of more laid back than to do that. So they're just kind of, if you're playing like a couple of games, obviously going for scores, we want people to be going for scores.
Right.
But just kind of take a walk away from some stuff now and then, and
Just
especially if it's something new. Like if you've come in specifically to play something new, chances are there's another regular there too that's waiting to get on it.
Yep.
And so just regulars, be courteous to one another too.
Right.
Like
Yeah, you set a good example, and we can use you as examples to other customers.
yeah.
So, good point, Duke. And then Duke says also more awareness on the blue recycling bins to separate from trash like gum and wrappers. So I think what he's getting at there is like how people are putting regular trash in the blue bins, I think.
Yeah.
Or they're spitting their gum in the blue bins and they shouldn't be.
Put your food garbage in there?
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. Just
Duke's,
kidding,
Duke's,
Duke.
Duke's going to choke you for
We
this.
Just kidding, Duke.
we try our best. We've been pretty good about sorting our recycling and stuff. I know, and again, huge shout outs to Duke. Like again, so much of what we're talking about, like Duke having us really prompting us to do that and add the recycling program. And
I do. I put all my bottles in there.
yeah, that's awesome. Like we appreciate that everybody's doing it as best they can. Again, same thing. Some of the new people, they haven't heard that we do it, so it's just a garbage can is a garbage can to them. So
Yeah, just we'll be nice, but we'll say, hey, don't spit your gum in that one. Use the other one.
Right.
We don't mean it as an insult, like.
right. Gum is.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
It rubs you the wrong way, doesn't it?
It's it. Like I hear it every minute from. Like I see it. It's the first thing I see on everybody now. And I remember that was the first time John Tobias came in. He came
awesome.
through the door, and all I see is it's guy chewing gum, and it's like, oh, I gotta get the gum. This guy's gotta spit his gum out here, like, and he's walking around, and he's like chewing that gum, and I'm like, I didn't even notice that it was John Tobias, and it was the funniest.
That's funny.
But yeah, it's one of those things for me. The last thing in the world is I don't want to have to replace our carpet ever. Like I much want our money to be going towards
New boards.
new boards, expansions.
Yeah.
I would rather be paying the new carpet to go in our new area rather than recarpet some old area.
Right.
But yeah, that's why gum to me is I and again especially on the weekends everybody's chewing gum.
Yep.
And John and Eddie are always like, how do you notice?
I think you have one of those Predator arm cannons that pops out of your shoulder, and like the three little beams come out, and it targets gum for you. and then yeah, we should just do that.
I don't have the radar for that, but I can hear somebody pop gum from like 3 miles away, and that drives me crazy.
For me, people have gotten to the point where it's so subtle. It's like it's just a subtle jaw movement, and it's like
Gum.
it's like that guy probably has gum.
Yeah.
And
Might be sucking a Skittle
I've
or
had
something.
I've had
but
customers
you
get
never know.
offended, and I'm usually really apologetic. I'm like, I'm sorry if that's gum you're chewing, and some guys are like, no, it's not. It's a bottle cap, or it's it's a mint, and he's like, I'm not trying to give you a hard time. It's just if it is gum, you got to toss it. But if it isn't, then
right,
we're not trying to offend people. We're just trying to keep the place clean.
right,
Yeah.
and it's it's astonishing at when we weren't policing it, how much gum was in our carpet. And it's like, how can gum fall out of your mouth?
Right. You can't.
It's it's like
you really have to. Yeah,
you have to try.
Yeah, it's like one of those "Has this ever happened to you?" commercials where it's super exaggerated.
And then you don't want people to put it like underneath,
right?
Too,
like fortunately we haven't really had any of that, but it's in the carpet, and it's if we're going to be recarpeting, it's like that's an expense. Again, that's like we'd rather put the money towards something that makes everybody else happy versus something that it's just kind of like we can't have the place looking bad.
Right.
It's just the diligence of the staff being like, hey, there's no gum here. And again, I understand people being like, well, and we have had parents be like, I'm an adult. And it's like, well, there's a lot of gum in the carpet, and it's not kids.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I've had people get offended.
Yeah, it happens, and we don't ever mean it that way. But if you look, we keep adding ghosts, no gum ghosts,
to the front counter.
Yeah. Then they scream no gum.
Yeah, for a reason.
Yes, and we huge shout outs to Eddie.
Yeah.
For bringing us our 4th no gum ghost.
Yeah.
Eddie.
Why?
Eddie's awesome.
Eddie is amazing. Yeah. He's really
Eddie
good.
and John and Mike.
This weekend we've been teaching them how to solder and expanding on their skills and stuff. So yeah, we were just showing them earlier today. So.
And John's into metal, so I really like him. He's really cool.
Yeah.
So last thing Duke asks here, how visitors can better help games that go or have been down for a while up and running. I don't know. How do you? I don't know. I'm not sure how he meant that, but the last part there. But it sounds like games like Flicky, where the game goes down for a while. Is there anything that regulars can do? I'm not sure what he means by that. Or like if someone wants to play that, if they can just ask.
Flicky, and he specifically mentions Flicky, and we do have. There's a couple of games that are
problematic.
They're problematic. There's about.
Like Punisher's one of them.
Punisher.
Oh, what's wrong with that one?
Kind of the monitor has issues. We're working very hard to get.
It's a great game.
It's an amazing game.
It's like Final Fight on steroids.
Flicky, for example, which is it's working.
It's off most of the time.
It is off most of the time because it emits a high pitch whine.
It's super loud and it's annoying.
It's loud and it's annoying. It works. I get it to work, and I often have to get it to work. Like Danielle will come in and she'll want to play it.
Yeah.
And,
I was gonna say she probably broke it.
No, that was one.
I'm kidding.
The sound didn't work for the longest time, and then we fixed it. And since it's been fixed, it has had this reoccurring high pitched noise behind it. It's one of those where if that's the game you're coming in and you want to play it, we can turn that on anytime, and it might have a high pitch whine to it. If I'm here, I can get it running. I'm pretty sure Seth gets it running without the whine.
I noticed someone on Facebook said, "I noticed this was off."
Yeah, it's one of those.
Tell us.
Tell us
when you're here and we can do something.
Right now, we are reworking a little bit of our electrical stuff again. We 476 games on the arcade floor,
boggles my
and
mind.
Even with all the electrical upgrades that we've done, we still trip fuses and
the
breaker goes.
Oh, I was here during a storm about a month ago, where the whole arcades just went blinking.
That's different.
That's rare though, but it's still kind of.
It happens. But with our current breaker setup, like Out Foxy's is off right now.
Same with RC Squared.
Oh, and it's just because if we plug anything else in, it trips.
And into the shmup room, right?
Yeah.
The shmup room, occasionally, that I think is pretty well fixed. The shmup room has been pretty solid.
Yeah.
we're going to be running a few more circuits probably before the week's over, or before next week being over, and hopefully have that fixed. But if there's, it's the usual thing. If you see Seth, if you want to know what's wrong with the game or why something isn't up, feel free to ask him. We definitely prefer to be asked in person while you're here, so we can give you. A lot of times we can get it on. Right. There was what was it? RC Squared can be on. It being a prototype, the game isn't finished, so it does crash. But we leave it on and playing. So sometimes there are things that we can get running. Sometimes it will develop an error over the more you play it. Like, it'll heat up and then something else will be going weird in it. But you can at least play it for a little bit. Like Narc was doing that for a while, where it would start putting out this buzz.
It's like it was a thump also that was coming from it.
That was an audio board issue with one of the caps, where if you just touch the cap, it fixes it.
Wow.
And that's the problem with there's so many little small subtle nuance repairs that can be done in the machines that it's hard to communicate all of them, just because it's 476 games. Right. We have the way the arcade repairs work. We have a database up at the counter, and our guys, when they're not ringing up people or cleaning stuff, they're testing games. And if they find anything wrong, they immediately put it in the database, and either Seth or I, or if it's something that one of the other people can fix, they'll get right on it. Some of it is a little bit more technical, like bump and jump, for example.
The monitor cable thing, yeah.
There's a weird problem with the monitor where sometimes when it starts up in the morning, the monitor will be skewed. Depending on who's working, some people unplug it, some people fix it, some people just aren't comfortable with fixing it. So it's just one of those, if you ask about it, they'll check the log and figure out, oh, this is how I need to fix it, and then they'll fix it. So it's all communication. We love talking to people here, so just talk to us.
Yeah. Like, I've noticed that you used to have a problem with Ghouls and Ghosts where you would have to hit, but that's not there anymore. So that must have been,
we put in a brand new monitor.
I've noticed that. There's no problems with it.
There's some of the there's some games where monitor issues are they're a never-ending problem. You can fix a monitor, and I know Seth had recently rejuvenated a couple of monitors that it was like there's no fixing those monitors at that point, and they'll look nice for a day and then they'll go back down. It's time like that. We have, for monitors, we have a big backstock of monitors, but we have to go through them all and figure out what's working, test them. Yeah. And it's an everyday thing. Like, a game went down that we pulled off the floor, monitor came out, it gets Dragon Saber back up. And so it's this never-ending, what do we do first? Like, we don't ever like having anything down. Like, we had Tempest down for a long time. We'd
have problems with those vector monitors. Yeah,
those vector monitors.
They're difficult.
Yeah,
it's a great game. Everybody loves it. But I remember, like the 3 consecutive times, like Dan Acavelli was there. He's like, "Oh, Tempest is still down." And it's like, it is, but it was up for a week, like 2 or 3 weeks in a row. Just you weren't here for it, and it's like, it's the hardest thing. It's like the machines that. Like, everything just runs and runs and runs here. It's like you're talking about a 15-hour power cycle every day. 365.
Yeah.
Like, this stuff.
That's rough on the games.
It's tremendously rough. Like, monitors that were the most beautiful monitor that I'd ever seen 3 years later aren't.
Yep.
But it's kind of the flow of how the arcade goes. Like, we want to have everything looking beautiful for everybody. We want to have every stick in the place working right and looking great. And we are very open about sharing what's wrong with stuff, and it's just a time thing. Some of the stuff, though, like the best thing, though, is we want everybody to know that we are so far from the business model called for this place. Everything needed to run and run well and look beautiful. The people that are working on the stuff, everybody is very passionate about that. It's such a huge expense to us, like, for all of our fighters. Like, I can't tell you how many arcades I've gone into and you can't throw a fireball or you can't do something because the micro switches are bad. And it's like each micro switch is it's either $1 or $2. I forget.
For the cherries?
For the cherry
MXs.
D44X micro switches.
Yeah.
It's $1 or $2 per switch.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll say it's $1 to re-chip or to re-micro switch Mortal Kombat. You're
$8.
talking it's $10 for. You got 5 buttons.
5 buttons and then 4 directions.
And 4 directions, and then a start button, which we don't know. We use the cheaper switches for the start buttons, but it's $10.
Right. Per
Times
side.
2.
Yeah.
So it's $20 to do that. Times 80 fighting games.
Yeah.
And we do that all the time.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's a huge expense, but that's why everything plays so good.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, as soon as, like, you've told me, it's like, oh, this isn't playing right. And it's like, oh, the micro switches are flat. Redo the whole thing. Because that's what it has to be. It has to play right. Because otherwise, who would come back?
Right. Right. There's no... I mean, there's customers coming in the first time. You want to have a good first impression.
Absolutely.
You know, you want stuff to work for them. And hopefully they say something if it isn't. So we do encourage that.
And if you notice something's down multiple times, please talk to us. There's some games that we haven't officially added to the floor. Galaxy Force 2, Star Trek, Death Race.
You'll see them there and want to play them, but, you know, we can't at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you were having problems a lot with Zookeeper, and now it's been up the whole time.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And that's a very difficult board set to keep up and running. But we managed to do it. It's one of those, like, nothing makes me happier than getting something like X Multiply.
Yeah.
That was bugging me tremendously for a long time.
Yeah, I kind of almost quit the game for a while because it was like having issues, and then no one was really going after the score. And then you got it fixed, and then Danielle started playing it, and other people were like talking about it. I'm like, oh crap, I better take care of this score now before someone else gets it. Yeah, before someone else gets it.
Right.
But now, you know, with it all working properly, it was you know, nice to get back on there and play it again.
Yeah. Well, and some places might be complacent to that. It's like, oh, it's 1 or 2 levels where there's a little bit of glitching around some characters. What's the big deal?
Yeah.
As a collector, that drives me insane. It's like, I don't want anything over there not being right. Like, people are hitchhiking in from Oregon to see what's going on here. People are flying in from Spain.
Yep. Want to have it good for them.
Yeah.
So it looks like we're about to get kicked out for Ghost Battle Series.
Yeah.
Started. There's one final shout out.
MK combatants are lining up.
And that actually reminds me, I wanted to give a shout out to Aaron Davis for a couple of
Yes.
reasons. He won Season 2 of Ghost Battle Series.
Congratulations,
so congratulations. We're going to add him to the plaque.
Yes.
For winning the season. And he also won First Attack in Puerto Rico. It was a tournament that happened about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
He was out in Puerto Rico doing a vacation/tournament.
Yeah.
And he happened to win the tournament. So congratulations to him, and thank you for representing Galloping Ghost Arcade awesomely, as he always does when he's playing Mortal Kombat X.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, Dizzy, for...
GGA Dizzy.
GGA Dizzy. Thank you for everything that you do and representing us so well. And it's amazing watching you play. We love watching you on stream. So thank you for everything, man. And all of Team GGA.
Yep.
They're all great.
They all represent us very well.
Yes.
Any final remarks going around the horn? What are you playing tonight?
Raiden 2. Rain Fighters 1, Rain Fighters 2.
Whole series. You mentioned
I'm just
Jet.
on a Raiders thing.
Raiden Fighters Jet.
Yeah.
Is that a remake of 1?
It's, I don't know how it fits in.
I have it on Xbox 360 and I never played it.
I have it on MAME, and that's the only way I know about it.
Don't say that. That's a bad word around here.
It's a bad word.
It's not
Sorry.
a bad word. It's just...
By the way,
It's a 4-letter word.
I do have to say that previous podcasts you guys mentioned the MAME save states.
We're going to bring that back up again when we
I
have
totally understand. I totally agree with you. I think I'm just of the philosophy you should go from beginning to end. I don't have anything against people that do the save states. It's just not for me. I think you should be able to do it every time.
Well, this is...
We're going to have Jamie back on. We're going to talk about this more.
I'm super anxious to have Jamie out and talk to him about MAME.
That's just my 2 cents in my opinion. I mean,
Yeah.
it just gets you it gets you better at the game. That's my whole thing.
For sure.
It really does.
I maybe we'll have you back in for that podcast as well. I think that would be really cool.
Me and Jamie can just put on the gloves.
We're going to have fisticuffs, yeah.
It's definitely a long,
Debate.
Interesting debate with no real answer, but
Yeah, it's mostly just opinion and sides, and
a lot of
no one's
options.
wrong.
that's this whole industry.
Different schools of thought.
It's video games, everybody.
Have fun. Just have fun. Whatever you do,
Have fun. Don't kill anybody.
If you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong. That's the only rule.
Don't throw a rope dart in real life.
Cool.
Cool. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Pete, and thank you, Sean, for joining us.
Yep.
Definitely, we will see you back here next week, probably.
Yep.
With
Hopefully
either
record soon.
the plethora of guests that we have lining up, Jamie and Jeremy, and a lot of cool stuff coming up. So thank you, everybody. This is Doc Mac from the Galloping Ghost Arcade. We'll see you around the arcade soon. Thanks for listening.
Take care.